for the way that she died.
It's time now to sing out, though the story never ends. Let's celebrate, remember, a year in the life of friends.
Welcome, dear friends, and blessed Christmas Eve. I am Alex Riley. My pronouns are they, them, theirs, and whether this night carries the stories of your childhood, the weight of tradition, the sparkle of magic, or simply the quiet beauty of gathering in community, we are grateful you're here. Tonight, we gather not to require a single belief, but to celebrate the values that live beneath the season. Hope that keeps us moving forward, love that binds us together, and compassion that calls us to care for one another, and the promise that peace is possible. These are gifts we can all share, no matter our theology, our doubts, or our sense of the sacred. So, come as you are, rooted in your own tradition, curious, grieving, joyful, searching, skeptical, or simply in need of a moment of light within a season of darkness. Together, we create that light. Together, we make it holy.
As we light our Christmas chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, let us reflect upon the words of Gwen Matthews. As December opens up before us, we welcome in the light of reflection. We turn towards our holiday celebrations and search for common threads of meaning. Here in this church, you are just as much a holiday miracle as the turning of the earth, as persistence and dedication to faith, as the creation of each new life. We see the love you give to others, the space you create to hold one another's joys and sorrows, and the generosity and spirit you entrust to this community. You are the holiday's miracle, the community of one of miracle makers.
Please rise in turn it on. in body and or spirit to sing hymn number 244, It Came Upon a Midnight Clear. Number 244.
You may be seated. So I'm going to have the kids stay in their seats this time. So tonight, the story that I'm going to read to you is a Native American rendition of the classic 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. You know that one that goes, 'Twas the night before Christmas and all through the house? Not a creature was stirring. Yeah. So this is the Native American version. 'Twas the night before Christmas when all through the teepee not a creature was stirring, nothing crawling, nothing creepy. Moccasins were hung from the ledge poles with care in hopes that old Red Shirt in time would be there. Now they called Santa Red Shirt because in the original poem it's St. Nicholas, which is an English and Catholic word, and since they didn't have a word for that, they called him Old Red Shirt. The kids were nestled all snug in their beds while visions of choke cherries danced in their heads. I in my Pendleton and Ma in her skins had just cuddled up cozy against cold winter winds. A Pendleton is a wool blanket. So they're made in the Pendleton mills in Oregon. And in the 1800s, the government would trade the wool blankets with the Native Americans to get the things the Native Americans had that they wanted, so that they call them Pendletons now. And they have like that Native American design on them, so they were made specifically for Native American peoples. When out in the camp rose a noise so humongous, I thought a wildcat had sneaked in among us. At once, I jumped up and ran through the clutter, threw back the flap, and made the lodge shudder. The moon and the stars in the night skies were a-blinkin', like the headlight that shines on my '69 Lincoln. When what to my wondering eyes did show but an old wooden sleigh and 8 buffalo. With a plump little driver who looked so well fed, I thought for a bit he was flying fry bread. And if you've had fry bread, it's like a donut. It's like deep fried dough with sugar on it. Like thundering clouds, these mammoths they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Hario, now Redbow, now Chino and Cola, on Tall Chief, on White Cloud, on Sam and Yahola. To the top of the trees, to the top of the bushes, haul your fat fur and move your big tushes. Like pine cones caught up and all tossed by a whirlwind, suspended in air by the magic of medicine. Up to the lodge top, the bison they soared, with a sleigh of commodities, goodies, and more. So commodities are when the Native Americans were put on the reservation, the government would every month bring commodities to the reservation that the natives could not get, like sugar, things like that that they couldn't make on their own. So that's what commodities are. Then in a moment, they froze there in space, and I felt the color all drain from my face. I turned back inside just as quick as a wink, as down the smoke hole old Red Shirt did sink. Dressed in red buckskins from his head to his foot, with beadwork and fringes, he really looked good. A medicine bundle he had by his side, on his back a large bag made of buffalo hide. A headdress he wore on his head, like a crown, made of white turkey feathers, all tipped in brown. His skin was wrinkled as sun-bathed earth, but none of these things really told of his worth. His face was like granite, his features so timeless. I knew that his soul held nothing but kindness. He spoke not a word, used sign language instead, and filled all the moccasins with toys and fry bread. And the Native Americans, they all had different languages. You know, the different tribes had different languages. So the tribes that were close together, they would use sign languages to talk to each other. So that's why Old Red Shirt would use sign language. And then, like smoke rising into the night, he gave me a wink and took to his flight. Up through the smoke hole into his sleigh, waking his team with a hearty hoka-hey. So the Native American warriors, when they went out to battle, would yell, hoka-hey! So now they still use that term to show how strong and, now it would be good. It wouldn't be a battle cry, so it's just to show how strong they are. Hoka-hey. And I heard him exclaim as they roared out of sight, Merry Christmas to all my relations, and all a good night. And they call all my relations means not just their own people, but all the people in the world, all the animals, all the plants, the rocks, the mountains. That's who all the relations are. And they use that term when they are in a ceremony. So now it's time for the blessing. We are blessed. We are blessed by being here. We are blessed by being here together.
Unlike our customary 50-50 offering. Tonight, all of the collections will be going towards the OBUUC Minister's Discretion Fund. The Minister's Discretion Fund goes to help congregants in need, and in the past, we have sent out holiday flower arrangements to those who are housebound and gift cards to those in need. I myself have been a recipient of this generosity from the Minister's Discretion Fund, and I can personally attest to the light it brought into my life, not only through monetary gain, but also by allowing me to engage with the church more fully. We are also funding the food pantry to supply items through the winter. Donations can be made anytime in December, and please write checks to OBUUC/Xmas Eve in the memo. Amid this time of celebration, it is important to hold space for feelings that don't fit in the prescribed cookie-cutter box of joy that's expected this season. For many of us, the holidays can bring up a lot of uncomfortable emotions: loneliness, regret, uncertainty, and fear, as well as any number of other feelings that can be difficult. To honor both happiness and grief we hold during this holiday season, I would like to light 2 candles. We light this first candle in celebration of joy. Holding space for joy during the holidays means allowing happiness to arrive without guilt or urgency. It's noticing the small warmth, shared laughter, a familiar song, a quiet moment of peace, and letting it be enough. Joy doesn't have to be loud or constant to be real. It can be gentle, fleeting, and still worthy of celebration. By welcoming joy as it comes, we honor that light that sustains us. We light the second candle in acknowledgement of sorrow. Holding space for some during the holidays means acknowledging that this season can also stir grief and loneliness and longing. It's giving yourself permission to feel what's heavy without trying to fix it or rush it away. By making room for sorrow, we practice compassion for ourselves and for others walking similar paths. Together, these flames remind us that our hearts can hold both joy and sadness. One does not diminish the other. They coexist, illuminating the fullness of our lives. May these lights guide us through the darkness to give warmth to our spirits and help us be present with ourselves and one another. Please rise in body and or spirit to sing hymn number 251, Silent Night.
That was lovely. Thank you. It's a familiar scene each holiday. I know at my house, maybe at yours too, no matter how meticulously the strings of lights were put away, they always seem to come out in a tangled mess. What happens to them all through the year as they wait in their boxes? And so the tradition of untangling the lights begins. We unwind them carefully, uncrossing and unlooping the wires, stretching them out to their full length, all the while being mindful to not damage the bulbs, which hold so much potential. I find that people aren't that different. We often feel like a jumbled mess of string lights tangled up within ourselves, not knowing how to get undone or how to get back to our sparkly selves, especially when the holidays approach. Throughout the year, each struggle adds another tangle to the lights until by the year's end, we're wound up so tightly that we don't even know where to begin. Sometimes we need a little help to sort ourselves out. It's been said that it's easier to untangle a string of lights if you plug them in. The brightness of the little bulbs help to guide our fingers through the tangles. It's no different for people. Connecting with friends, family, therapists, or trusted advisors can shine a little light to help us untangle ourselves and to help us stretch out to our full potential. Humans, just like strings of lights, are wired for connection. It's when we're wound most tightly that we need the connection most of all. We're at our best when we are plugged into each other. We find our true purpose and spark with others, not alone. And it's in these connections that we shine most brightly. Choir.
Tonight, we gather on Christmas Eve, a night held tenderly in the hearts of millions around the world for many different reasons. Within Christian tradition, this night marks the birth of Jesus of Nazareth, a child whose story has inspired hopes for peace, compassion, and radical love for more than 2 millennia. The earliest followers of Jesus told the story of a humble birth under a great star, of shepherds and angels, of a promise that even in dark times, a new light can enter the world. Whether one receives that story as sacred history, spiritual metaphor, or poetic truth, its endurance points to something universal: the human longing for hope when the world feels fragile. But long before Christianity spread across Europe, winter itself was already a sacred time. Many ancient cultures marked the winter solstice, the moment when the sun begins its slow return, as a celebration of light and survival. In ancient Rome, Saturnalia honored the god Saturn with feast-giving, gift-giving, and role reversals. So they had fake kings for a day who got to give ridiculous orders, and everyone had to follow them, otherwise they got in trouble. Also, they had female gladiators that were finally able to compete because gender roles also went out the window, which sounds pretty gay to me. For several days, Romans filled their homes with greenery, lit candles, shared small presents, and embraced a sense of communal joy. It was rowdy, chaotic, and deeply beloved. Like I said, pretty gay. The echoes, when Christianity grew within the empire, many Saturnalian customs were woven into Christmas traditions, transforming but never truly disappearing. The echoes of those ancient festivities linger today in our lights, our greenery, our gatherings, and our instinct to be generous during the darkest times of the year. As centuries passed, Christmas evolved again and again, absorbing local traditions, reshaping itself with each culture it encountered. When we widen our lens beyond the United States, we find a stunning diversity of Christmas expressions, many of which challenge the familiar images we tend to associate with the holiday. In the Philippines, for example, Christmas is the longest season of the year. You know that song, We Need a Little Christmas? Or that song that tells you that we wish Christmas was every day? Well, the Philippines is trying. They start their Christmas season in September, and it lasts beyond New Year's. With lanterns shaped like stars called paroles, they glow from windows and streets, symbolizing light guiding the way through dark times. Midnight masses, street festivals, and community gatherings create a season defined more by togetherness than consumerism. In Iceland, families embrace the folklore of the 13 Yule lads. That's 13 crazy, mischievous figures who leave gifts or play pranks during the nights leading up till Christmas. You wanted your kids to behave for Santa? Well, now they have to behave for 13 whole days. Somebody had the right idea. Their mother figure, the giantess Grilla, roams the mountains, a reminder that the season blends joy with ancient storytelling, often in ways that feel wild and whimsical. In Venezuela, the days before Christmas are marked by early morning roller skating to church services, so common that the streets are closed to cars to make room for the skaters. I actually have a friend who used to do this when he was growing up in Caracas. In Mexico, La Posadas reenacts Mary and Joseph's search for shelter, but the celebration blends devotion with community, music, and shared meals. In Ethiopia, Christmas, called Ghana, is celebrated on January 7th with fasting, prayer, and a traditional game played with curved sticks. And in Japan, where Christians are a small minority, Christmas has become a secular celebration with light displays, romance, and thanks to a very shifty marketing executive, surprisingly popular tradition of eating KFC. If you're curious, ask me after the service. Each of these customs, ancient, Christian, and culturally unique, reminds us that Christmas has never been just one thing. It's a tapestry woven from countless human attempts to bring meaning, joy, and light into the darkness of winter. And that is, perhaps, what makes this night so enduring. It invites us into a long lineage of people who looked at the coldest season and refused to let it be defined by fear or scarcity. Whether through faith, community, food, story, or just simple kindness, generation after generation has made this night a reminder that warmth is possible, hope is possible, and renewal is always ongoing. Please rise in body and or spirit to sing number 241, In the Bleak Midwinter. Number 241. As winter settles in and nights grow longer, people across cultures and faiths pause to mark the season with light, gathering, and story. From celebrations of renewal and resilience to traditions of generosity, rest, and hope, winter holidays, whether religious, cultural, or secular, echo one another in meaningful ways. This Christmas, I invite us to notice those shared themes, not to blur our differences, but to honor how many paths lead us to warmth, connection, and the enduring human need for light in the dark. Winter is the season of least sunlight in the northern hemisphere, and nearly every winter holiday responds to that reality. Candles, fires, lanterns, stars, glowing trees, these are everywhere. Whether it's Hanukkah candles, Diwali lamps, Christmas lights, Yule fires, or Dongzi lanterns, the message is the same. The darkness is real, but it is not the end. Light becomes hope made visible. Many winter holidays have their roots in the solstice, that turning point when the long darkness pauses and the light slowly begins its return. Even when modern observances no longer align with the astronomical events, they continue to carry the same deep themes and traditions: endings and beginnings, death and rebirth, rest and renewal. These celebrations speak to a shared human need for reassurance and meaning, for rituals that quietly tell us, you survived. Something new is coming. Winter holidays are often marked by tables made heavy with food, special breads, baked once a year, sweets saved for weeks, preserved fruits and meats, rich dishes that require patience, planning, and restraint. Historically, this abundance was practical. Stores needed to be used before they spoiled, and extra calories were essential for surviving cold and scarcity. But the symbolism runs deeper than survival alone. Sharing food in the darkest season becomes an act of reassurance, a collective promise that there is enough, at least for this moment. In gathering to cook, to eat, and to pass recipes across generations, food transforms into comfort and memory, into a language of care that says, you are fed, you belong, and we will get through this together. Gift giving, charity, hospitality, and care for the vulnerable appear again and again in winter traditions. It's not simply for moral reasons, but it's practice shaped by survival. In the hardest season, a community cannot endure if everyone looks out only for themselves. Hoarding isolates, while sharing keeps people alive. By weaving generosity into ritual, into stories, customs, and celebrations, these holidays turn necessity into expectation, and expectation to joy. Winter holidays are dense with story because of the long nights that make space for it. It is the season when the world grows quiet and darkness lingers. People gather to tell tales of saviors born in unlikely places, of light returning against all odds, of ancestors drawing near, of spirits crossing boundaries, of cosmic struggles between despair and hope. These narratives turn abstract ideas like hope, justice, sacrifice, and renewal, and compassion into memorable human experiences. They are not meant to distract from hardship, but to make sense of it, to offer language for suffering, and courage and endurance in telling them together. Communities reinforce shared values, hold their identity steady through the cold, and carry wisdom and hope toward the forward until the light returns. As we move through this season together, Christmas invites us not only to celebrate a particular story, but to recognize ourselves in a much larger human chorus. Across cultures and centuries, winter holidays arise from the same fragile place, a world grown cold and dark, and people choosing again and again to respond with light. To honor these shared themes is not to erase difference, but to deepen and respect one another's wisdom and resilience. May we carry the awareness with us, not just through the holidays, but into the year ahead, remembering that when the nights are longest, we are strongest together, building a beloved community, all while trusting that even now, the light is returning. This Christmas Eve, we've been thinking a lot about traditions, from exploring traditions around the world to remembering those that are a bit more familiar. I wanted to end with a tradition that was distinctly us, distinctly OBUUC. Singing the Rainbow Connection and lighting candles on Christmas Eve are two such traditions. Rainbow Connection reminds us that comfort, peace, and joy are found not only in grand gestures, but in the rituals that keep us together. The stories we sing again and again, and ways that we show up for each other. As we light these candles, may this familiar music and warm glow settle our spirits, open our hearts, and remind us that we are held in a larger love as we strive to build that beloved community. We will now be sharing the light. Ushers will provide the light to the first person in each row. Those with the flame will hold their candle upright, and those lighting will tilt towards the flame, passing it to one another. While the candles are being lit, if Alejandro will please play through the melody once with the accompaniment before we all sing the song together. Please remain seated for the lighting and the singing. we extinguish our chalice, but not the light of this community that glows within each of us. May the warmth of love, the glow of hope, and the spirit of joy guide us through this season and into the days to come. I would like to end with a little Christmas prayer. Spirit of life and love, known by many names and felt in many ways. In this season of long nights and bright lights, we pause to breathe, to notice, to give thanks. We give thanks for love made visible in acts of kindness, in patient listening, in hands that reach out when the world feels heavy. We remember the story of a child born in humility, and we honor what that story calls forth in us: compassion over cruelty, hope over despair, justice over indifference. In this season and beyond, may we be bearers of light, makers of mercy, and remember that love, when tended, grows strong enough to change the world. Amen. Blessed be. Merry Christmas.
Blow the light into your heart. If you donated a poinsettia, please take it home with you tonight. Just don't pick any from the back wall. Those are artificial and belong to First Presbyterian Church.